So, hi everybody and welcome back. This is Unreal Engine 5 full game tutorial series for absolute beginners. This is video 16 and in this video we talk about how to analyze the migrated content which I get from the Endless Runner creator, and instead of doing all one by one, I just migrated it and we analyze it, and so that we understand what happened there, and so that we can also change things when we need to. So, but before that, let's see how much time I have, because I give me a time of 2 weeks. I wasted already 7 days or so. Let's see, before this epic mega gems here starts, and it will start here roughly in 7 days, I must be finished with my game. And yeah, you see, I wasted a lot of time. I worked not all day, but I wasted a lot of time. And let's see if we can make this in 7 days. So my goal is to finish this game and release it. This game, not only finishing, we have to release it as well. And so, yeah, that's very interesting to see. And don't forget to join here. You see more and more people join, so try to join here as well. I join later just to grab some items, free items like all time. And yeah, with that said, let's go to the video and make it. So first of all, let's go here. And like I said, we will analyze this imported map. And the imported map is actually this one here. So this map I imported and I use it for my core play, right? And this one we want to analyze now, because I have not shown you what all these elements. I just imported this one. So how we analyze this, I already told you a little bit about UML diagrams. If you know what UML is, it's just a high level view of diagrams and different kind of diagrams actually with different purposes. But in general, what we will use is just so we need just an overview and how this game play is connected, but we will not create a UML diagram, because that's only needed normally for bigger projects. I think we can do this without a UML diagram as well. But we will use the high level view and the low level view. What I mean with that, the high level view, for example, I showed you my planning, which is actually very simple and randomly, but very simple and straightforward and fast. That's the point, which was this here. That was a high level view where I said, here, I concentrate at the first block on the main menu, which I made, and then I reworked, and now I'm here actually in gameplay. I migrated this level here. You can see this game migration of this level with this map level is actually already gameplay. But I made it not step by step, I just migrated and we analyze it in this way. So this one is high level view. Why it's called high level view? You want just have an overview, you want point out where you are. Now I'm here, this block, and you don't care about details. What is low level view? Low level view, I said, you go to this point where you are. I showed you this example here. That was this. Let me compare this one fast. So that was this one here. Low level view says, okay, at start I was here, this block here, main menu, and then in main menu I make a list of tasks which I want to do, and you can see I updated my main menu widget a little bit. First I finished this block anyhow, then I concentrated on this block. Here I was finished, but then I messed up in my last video, and then I decided, okay, let's just migrate the whole map, and that's why I had to rework this widget again. And yeah, I reworked this one, and only the title is missing. So I'm now switching to this block here. Even the title is missing, because I have to find a good title name for the game, and I don't know right now. That's why I will add it later. And that means when I show you my map, where I am actually here. When I start my game, you can see this is my widget right now, but I will make here a title, and of course later, this is phase 1, just the core system, here a title, and later creative phase 2 would be after I finish the core systems of the full game. Then I add here creative ideas, for example, pictures, sound, and all nice what it can make up if I have time. But you saw my time already. I have only 7 days. That's I don't know if this is good, because I'm not working a full day. That could be very, very short. So, and yeah, the thing is, it was set up here with play, and then we have now to understand this thing. And like I said, we will use this high level view and low level view. But what means high level view, low level view in analyzing of this game? Very simple and straightforward. It means this one. Let me show you, and let's make it actually. So it means, first of all, I start my start point, and I will use the debug system that I already told you in the last video, right? That I will use just a simple analyze version, but I think there are much better ones. But I use the debug version, which means you find the start point. In my case, most time it starts in game mode, so I go into game mode, jump into it, but I have here a problem. When I open this one up, you can see here's a begin play, so I have to open up the parent here. Let's open up this one, and you can see here we have code and so on, but the problem is this one has also a begin play. And let's jump here to this parent, and yes, this is the last one here. We have here a parent, but this one is game engine parent, which means this is not for game production, this is only for engine setup. That we don't care. We care, this is here user setup. Here it's our start point. All right, that's okay. And so what it means now, high level view and low level view. First of all, we start with debug. So here's my start point at begin play. And high level and low level view means just like before. I showed you that here in my example, my planning example. High level, I don't care about details. I want just an overview here. I make a widget, then I go to the gameplay, then I need a quit and some goals, and that's it. That is high level, so an overview. And the low level view, I need details. I want details. I jump to menu widget, and then I watch the details. In this case, I make task. And what means this in analyzing? In analyzing, there are different viewpoints as well. For example, when I start now with this game here, let's start. This is the start point of the game mode, and I can use here this debug tools. I talked already about it. That's why I go to the next point. So now I'm here, and this is nice. A function is a nice demonstration what a high level is and what a low level is. High level of a function is you just read the function name, and if you understand what the function does, you don't care and go into the details. For example, it says here load data. Load data would be high level because you say, okay, I know what load data is. This is just loading a game, saving a game, and the whole setup. So I don't care about the details. I know it. Then that was it. Then you can go to the next point instead of going into the data. The next step is it jumps here. Here is again a function. If the function is already enough again, it says here spawn player. Okay, this one, we are trying just to spawn the player here. First we load data, now we try spawn player pawn here. Okay, I know he's trying to spawn player pawn. Let's go to the next one. We don't care about details here. Next one, high level view in it. He's just initializing all the kind of stuff what it's possible to initialize. Right now I'm not sure what in detail he is initializing, but initializing means just set up default values. All right, so start values. All right, let's go to the next. That's enough for my overview, high level. And here he set up a little bit music. This is just to start up the music, and you see that was it already. That was the step here of analyzing, but careful, that was only the step from game mode. And we saw already there are other things as well. For example, we have here, what is that? A player start and all other things. And what happens if they start? Because they have, let's see, event graph. This one got nothing, or at least it looks like. But let's see this one here. What is that? Yeah. Or let's go here to event graph. Let's see what happens here. So this event graph, for example, where was it? Here. This event graph has also a big in play, and this is another point of view. What happens with this start here? So you have to check out different components and different levels. But yeah, we will not go over all this because we concentrate only on one, and I think I will go over the main. And yeah, so let me show you fast what a low-level view is, and it's clear now what a low-level view is. Low-level view, again, I start here with this demonstration. Here I am. Here I go in, and you read here the function name, for example, low data. But by the way, that must be not here. A high-level view, you could realize it with a comment as well. You read just the comment, and you don't go into the data. So it must be not a function. I showed you earlier this function because it's easy to understand. So, all right. But let's see, what is the low-level view? Just read here the name here of this function. It says load data. Cool. But you have no idea what it is. Okay, let's analyze it in detail, which means let's use this. Go into the function, and now this is a realization, one way how you can set up a load and save data. And then you have to go here and analyze how to set this up, right? Step by step. Then we go here. Then it says here, first of all, you ask for does save game exist? If it exists, you have a variable already created if it exists, which means you can check if this variable is says yes or no with this node here. And if it says yes, which means you already created a level, then you will execute this line. If it says no, which means you probably start this game for the first time, that means we need to create a save game data, and then you are executing this line of code. And yeah, that means high level and low level. So, and then I go out, and then it jumps to the next node on the line. That's for high level and low level. And here, the next step, what I want to show you is now, after you understand that, you know that all this kind of stuff, what comes now, is interesting because we are starters, right? I'm not talking here for advanced people. They know it probably better than me, but for starters means we don't know most components, which means we will talk about low level as well. So not just so, for example, if I start here again and you watched already a YouTube video about save games, then you would skip this one and say, okay, I know it. You can skip this tutorial, this video, because then you can go and try to understand how to spawn player. And then if you don't know this one, then we can check this one, probably. But here one warning, when it says spawn player or something like that, you can see they have different implementations. So it must be not all time the same implementation. That's interesting a little bit how they implemented it, because there are all time different implementation possibilities. All right, but in general, they are, even if the implementation is different, they are still in the functionality the same thing. More or less, they do the same thing. That's why it's enough. All right, enough talk for that. We can start. In this video, I want to talk just about the first part. And the first part is actually when I start here, this one, and it is this load game here at the start. Why is this so important for a game in general? Because every game will not, I don't know if every game, but let's say 99% of all games will save their data later in the game. For example, the score, or they have found items or whatever. They will save this for when they start the game again to see, oh, I have this high score, or I have this coins, or I have found this items, or whatever you made. So they were to compare, or to, yes, to see their inventory and so on. So with other words, we will need all time a load save data understanding. You need this. So in my game, I need this too, but in my game, I have to decide if I do. Important is where you do this. Is this the right place? Or should I do this perhaps already when I load up my widget? Or something like that, because this is perhaps not the final place. But the important thing is I know I need one. So let's try to understand what load data is, load save data is. And if you know it already, then you can skip now this video, because now I'm talking about the details. Or you can just watch another video where they explain save and load data also. Perhaps a little bit better than me. So let's jump into it, because this one is not my code, but like I said, even if it's not my code, it is most time the same, or similar implementations can be not all time exactly the same, but similar. So we need at start, like he is saying here, check for existing save game. That is the first thing what you need do, because the reason for that is, like I said before, we will create a save game file like here, and here we will save it. And when we open up the game first time, which means in this node, it checks if this slot here, which we have created, which is just a variable, which is here on the left side, it is just a string, because it is saved here when you watch here on the right side, here in default values as a string name. And here in this string name, we will save it. It checks if we have created this string in our hard drive, right? If this is not, if this node says no, it is not created, I don't find it, then it means probably you play this game the first time, because if you play it the second time, normally this one should say yes, it exists, I created this already when you started this game first time. Which means if you play it the first time, here we have a branch, it says I'm playing the first time, which means this results here in no, which means false, which says, okay, you are here the first time. And then this whole block, it says here, create a save, pass the tracked variables, assign it to the given save slot. All right, this is the what I said, these variables you create. Let's go step by step before I talk too much. All right, let's go into here. We are creating the save game. Here we are here. The problem is I have already created a save game, but here one more note. You can delete the save game manually for testing, because when you create this save game and you want delete it, I mean for testing purposes, and you want go, for example, this node, you can go into the folder where you save the save game. Most time it is in the folder. Let me find it. Can I go there? Let me see this. Normally I would go now to, normally you go to your content, instead content. Let's see if I can go right click here. And then anything show explorer was here. Anything a node? Where is the show explorer node? It's not here. Perhaps I don't know if it's here, but you can go out, right click on one of these assets, and then you can just go here to show in explorer, and then my explorer pops up. It's on my other window, and in explorer you go to your game. Now let me show you this one in a moment. Is this the right thing? Yes, I think this one is that. Oh wait, is this one? Let me search this a little bit. Because I have here another name. It's a little bit. Okay, now it is. It's so here it's in my explorer, and here mobile game content. You go here into your Unreal Engine projects and your game, And important is the save game slot here, what you just saw, it's saved here in saved. There is a folder save. When you double click on it, and it says here, you can see here's many saved, but for us important is save games. This one here. You click on it and you see save slot 1 was created. It's exactly that what we have here. Here, that will be created here. Later you have it. Then when it checks, it will go up. And for this test purpose, what we can do is we just select it and delete it. Now we have no more save game, which means when I start this one again, for testing, very nice to go into this one. Okay, I go into this. I use this debug tool, go into the function. I'm here now. It checks if this slot variable here, it says here save slot 1 is it checks if the slot is if it exists, right? And it will check the save game data what I showed you, and it tries to find it. If it's not finding, then it says okay, let's see what it says. It is here. And it says now, I can see it already, false. When you want to check it before you go on, you can just hover with your mouse over these conditions. And here you can already see when you are past them, what they called here false, which means when I go into it, we go down now. I have deleted this one, which means now I simulate my first game try. So this one is like I start the game for the first time. Then it checks here, create save game object, and this save game object we have to create before we come here. And what is the save game object? I will show you this in a moment, right now actually, because I stopped this. But now it creates again a save game object. No, it creates not, because I stopped here. If I would stop here, it would create, but here it's not created. But let me show you the save game object. The save game object is the object which we use where we save our, like I said, what we want save or what we want load later. For example, in my game, let me show you this fast when I start this. Okay, that's a bad thing. In my game, for example, I want save the score. You saw it in the middle. Or I save, I don't know, perhaps lives later as well. But I think there was no lives. There was coins or something like that. Anyway, I show you now the save data first. Let me go here. So we need a object. This object is just a blueprint. And this blueprint is a special blueprint, which is a BP. Let's go to it. I don't know where he made this. BP save. Yeah, here. It's a special blueprint. It is called BP save. But the real thing is, when you read the name narrative parent class, it is a save game. And how I can show you this here, when you right click here, you go to blueprint if you want to go here, but perhaps it's anywhere here too, but you can go here to the blueprint class, and then you can write here save. And you will see it pops up this menu. It says save game when you click this one. And let's see what is this. This is the one which we have, but we make a new one. Select, and now you can call this BP. I call this, for example, just for demonstration. And okay, I have, of course, here write this one away. And this BP demonstration is created now here in my game folder anyhow. All right, here. Anyway, I will delete this in a moment, but let me show you what this is. I open this up and you can see it is just a blueprint, and here I will define all the variables which I want store. So I want store, for example, my score. I write here score, and of course the right type, perhaps integer if I want only full numbers, and then you can more set up. Of course, compile, save, and set the default value here on the right side. And perhaps you want to store even more, then you add just more variables. For example, let's add life. How many lives I have, perhaps I have more, perhaps I have less when I stop playing, and so on. Perhaps it's interesting. Who knows? Compile, save, and set here a default value. Start, we have 2, and perhaps we get more and less, depends what we add in our gameplay. And yeah, You see, here we set up the variables which we want to store, and that's it for a game object. So this is needed later exactly at this point, because this game object will create this BP here, and or let's say it will, where is it? Here. It will first of all create the class, and then we make a reference, and then with this reference here, but we return our object reference here, so it will call the class here, and we get our object reference and save this object reference, which means just we have now access to this BP class. That's why we need a reference, means just a variable here, so that we can use it all time instead of using this node here. What I mean with that, you can see the save ref is used here, and that's we made here a reference, a variable, just so that we have not plug it from here and then all time here and make all time this long calls. That's why we make all time these variables most time. And yeah, that's for the save game. And let's go a little bit more. So this one, that one I delayed. I don't need this demonstration. Force delayed. All right, and then let's go here a little bit more. So with my demonstration, let's start this again. Let's go here fast and here in it. And let's go here, here. And we should go down because it was created. Oh, I don't know why, but it was created. My save game was created, which means you can, I show you it again. Again, this file, it was created. I have to kick it out. We'll demonstrate this one more time. So I delete this. And then I start this one more time, but this time it should be go down. So we are here. We created the object as a save game blueprint. Now it create this reference, which means we have now access to save game. And why we need this access is because we want get the variables or load the variables or set the variables. And in the next step here, we can see in this case, what we are doing. We have here total currency, and what is that here created? All right, this total currency here is actually set. We set variables. All the created variables in this blueprint we are just setting at this point. Which means this total, that's a little bit, okay, now I get it. At this point, because we are at the first time, this is the first time we created, and the first time he's setting some default value. So this kind of values, this total currency is 0. It's the first time it's a default value. And the same goes for the high score, default value 0. And this one is just a reference that we are using, what I showed you before. All right, that's okay. So important is, I was just irritated here because normally at start we have nothing to, it was nothing set, but of course default values you can set. And this is a way to set the default value at this start object. Again, I would say, because normally we have set the default values here also in this BP thing. Like I showed you, when you compile, you can go here to the default section and set there. That's why I was a little bit irritated, but I hope you get it. It's not too difficult. And then at the end, that was just setting the default values. At the end here, save game to slot. And actually I thought I need this node here to create this at this point, but anyhow it still created this one. Perhaps when I stop the debug, it still run the frame here and then creates this one. Could be, I'm not sure. But here at this point, this is the node where we really create the slot here. Here you define this in a variable first. You go here to the save game before actually you make this variable, like I said, before you go here in it, and then you define a slot. And then at this point where it asks where I should save now all this information, and then you say here I have defined a save slot 1. Use this, and then it asks here on this is the name, and it asks what I should save there, and you should save there exactly this object here. Create okay, this was this create, sorry. This node here is creating the save game object. I switched the nodes. This one is just saving to the slot, and this one is creating the slot, of course. And I entered the slot here, and that's why I created the save game. Okay, that was our other way around. Anyway, you get the idea. But important is, but still I have not defined here the slot. Still strange. But important is that you just save here now what you want. For example, in this case, we are saving this default values, this here, this 0 and this 0, which is saved in this self-ref, and the self-ref is just the new setup object here, and we save it in this slot. So that was this step, and when I go out, it goes here, but I want not show this one. Let's make fast the other step as well, which means I just start again. And this thing, what I explain here, you can watch a more detailed video if you want, but it's not too difficult actually to set up. But let's go here fast again. Here we go in, but this time this variable exists because now here my save game is created. And now this one will save, yes, I found it. And then we go here, and then when it's found, it will go now up. And in this case here, the comment is, I think, good. If there is a load, then update the current variable and tracking in game. All right, so which means just here at this, we are just loading now information here. We saved information, but here at start, we saved just the default values, which was 0, 0. And now we are using this save game slot to load from this information. So with other words, here this one, my save game here, it's here, and load game from slot, which means this data which you can see here is loaded here, and we cast then this data to this BP save game, which is the thing before what I showed you here, which we created here, the save game data. And in this save game data, we have again access, right? We get access to our variables, and then here in this is just a reference again, so that we can use this access point of the save game. And important is now after this one here, at this point, I have access to all the variables again, which is in my BP save here in this case. And here you can see now I get it. So this is a getter. So I get it from this BP save. And now I set it to the variable which I want to use. So here it's the other way around. Here I get the information and I set to a variable which I can create here on the left side. In this case, he created this total currency anywhere. Let's see here in it. Yes, it's here in ints. He created this total currency and this high score. So he created these two variables, and these two variables are saved in this yes, the save game here, and from here we get it, and here we get it, here we set it for our use. This variable will be used now in game. This is just the getter from this one, and the same goes for high score. Here we get it, and in this case he used just the reference instead of pulling it out from here, because like I said, instead of all time having this long lines from here, we use this reference what he created here, and then use the variable here instead of coming from here all time. All right, and that was it with our save load game. And this thing what you can see here, by the way, in its original file, he made all this line here in this function, and I put it out. I wanted not use this function here. like I said, in this case, I like this version more. But of course, you can do this like you want, because everything putting in a function is not all time the best solution. It makes only sense when it becomes longer and longer and has special, or it makes sense when you make a overview like before. Here makes its absolute sense. Like I started at the start with this overview. Here you say load data. Yes, this is a whole section, and the section should be then not too much containing of other function. That's not a good idea. That means so nesting function, nesting function, nesting function is you can make it, but it's not all time a good idea, because in general, when you are nesting function in programming too much, normally it causes not big problems, but can cause problems with loading stack memory and so something like that. So careful about this. But here, but I don't know how they implemented this one in Unreal Engine, by the way, so I'm not sure. But in general, make a function and then try to use the function and don't go too much deep in function nested function, not a good idea. But that's that. And still, I want to show you why I still think it's a good idea on this places. For example, for our overview here, spawn player, okay, that's enough, cool, we go in, we watch this, okay, you made this is one code, perfect, then go out, understand it, here in it, go in. So for overview, it's very nice. And if you have only one function which is doing one thing, it's also nice. You can see here function for this one. But here another thing, this one is also not so good. What I mean with that is init is normally a good thing here at this point, right? But the problem with this init is it is very small. Think about if you need here really a function. What I mean with that is, where is it? No. Oh, now I know where it is. That was a shock. That was a shock from behind. Yes. So what I mean with that is we are back after the shock. So what I mean with that is when the function is too small, here we have just one node and here one call. And to make here a function, instead of just going, let me start this fast again. Instead of just going, where is it? Where we are? Here. Spawn. Here. Oh no, not here. Here. So instead, this place, you could just add this little function here directly. What I mean with that is, let me do this one. Here, just copy this kind of stuff out, like so. And then go here per spec. Here's the init place. Here and put it directly in. Okay, it's not so nice because this one looks more readable, right? But the problem is still, for every little function, I mean for every little code a function, that is, again, it's not, this one is much more readable because you can see it's very nice, but in general, I would not do this. I would rather put this code here directly in it. What I mean with that is, let me show you this instead of talking too much. I would just do this one here instead. And then you can put here a comment around if you want to make this one stand out, right? Because then you can say here, the comment which you have here, you can go here and use something like that instead. And we are avoiding just a function call. This makes it a little bit more, yeah, that makes it a little bit more efficient. That's not really true. This little function call will not do anything in performance. Only super little, it's almost negligible. But the reason for that is it is so little. You can go just here and yeah, you will. This is style. I think the other one looks better for overview, but in general, little codes I don't put in separate functions. Even though the other one looks good. For example, here he put the code directly here. That's okay, at least this one here instead of a function again. And yeah, okay, I think you understand the general idea, right? So that was this code here. I hope you understood. Let me compile and save this one here. I hope you understood this loading thing, because this load save data has every game. I've said 99% of error, all games, so not every game perhaps, but 99%, and you need this. And this will be combined later with something which I will probably not discuss in this one, which is a game instance. They combine this most time with game instances, because normally you don't save every data here during the game. During the game you are not using this load save data. This load save here you are using normally at start to load all the datas, and let's say all time before you quit the game, so you save all your current states, so how you progressed, and then you want all save things, then you call at the end before you quit this save data, and that's it. But in between you make it also progress, and in many games, and this data needs also to be saved, and there many are using game instances instead of game load save game. But this is a question if you need it for little games like mine. For bigger games definitely, but my game is so little and I will not have too much to save between, so perhaps I use just this save game, what you see here, this load save. And but the normal case is the setup that you have between a game instance and the game instance. When you before you quit, it takes all the informations from the game instance and save it in this save game here. All right, I think I talked much about this one, and yeah, in the next video I will talk perhaps I will not talk all about every part, but I will talk about the most important parts which a game needs as a core system. For example, we will not talk about, let me show you, there are some parts which are not so important, like this spawn player, it's important. This default value initializing, yes, we can see it already here, how this is done. This is okay, but I thought there are some things which we really don't need. I already saw something like set up color of player pawn and all this kind of stuff. I will skip. I will skip also some other things which I think it's not so important for a little game. For example, he has a custom management system which is normally intended for bigger games, or in general, if you can set up a management system, it's all time cool. But yeah, for absolute little games, not so necessarily. You can make it in one go. And I think now I stop this video, and in the next video, like I said, we will talk about 2 or 3 more systems here, which is important for gameplay, core gameplay, and that's it. So not all things. Perhaps, yeah, we will see what is more important for core gameplay. And the save game was important. Like I said, 90% of all games have a save load game, so you have to know this normally and to learn this. At least the programmer in your group needs to know this, and how to use it with game instances probably too, if the game is a desktop game, which means it's bigger game. All right, with that said, if you have any questions or any complaints like all times, write it in the comments, and see us in the next video, where we will talk again about a little bit analyzing some basic core systems, and then I think I will go on and create, it's almost finished actually, because the core system we make only the quit and integrate all things together. Of course, this is work. I have now to integrate a little bit the widget, the start widget, then this one, and my And I will add one more category in my overview, which is the end widget and so on, something like that. I will show you this in the next video. Okay, see you next. Bye, good luck, and like all time, have fun and don't give up.